Yes, people. What's going on? Welcome back to United View. Happy Friday. Welcome back to another morning view. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe to United View if you haven't done so already. Ruben Amorim has his first W. His first W. W's in the chat, please. W's in the chat. He has his first W as Manchester United head coach, mate.
Nice.
After a thrilling game.
It was thrilling. Yes.
He said we will suffer. He's not wrong, but he did say we'll also get better. And we did in some areas yesterday.
Yeah.
And not so much in others with some of the same things. But we'll talk about that in a little while. Big piece out the traps for over the festive period. From David Ornstein, sort of talking about Rory Delap.
Yeah, it's his son.
Yeah, it's his son. But the other Delap from Ipswich, apparently we are interested as well as a whole host of suitors in terms of Chelsea and Man City got a buyback clause as well. So it's not a foregone conclusion, but we know that there's situations going on for Liam Delap, and Manchester United are looking at it. You know what I mean? They're looking at it for the summer, as are a lot of other teams as well. So we'll talk about that. We'll obviously dissect what happened yesterday. Mazraoui had some quotes, and Amorim had some quotes, some really good stuff after the game. We was literally next to Mazraoui when he's giving them quotes to the written press as well. Really humble guy. Really humble guy. But before we get into the video, as usual, and today's show, this video is brought to you by Manscaped, and we've got a treat for you.
This video is brought to you by Manscaped, and with the festive season fast approaching, I've got the perfect gift for you. Introducing Manscaped's latest release, the Chairman Pro Electric Foil Shaver. Look at this beauty. You get every single thing you need. You get your shaving balm, you get your power shave gel as well. The all-in-one set includes everything you need to recreate that luxury professional shave right from home, whether you're after that daily silky smooth finish or prefer to maintain a rugged 5 o'clock shadow. The Chairman Pro package has you covered. The Chairman Pro is waterproof. Yes, you can use it right from the shower, and when you finish, you just rinse it under the tap, just like that, and the hair's gone. The Chairman Pro is not just for daily shaves either. It's powerful enough to tackle up to five-day growth, making it perfect whether you're shaving every day or just tidying up after a few days. So head over to manscaped.com and join over 11 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped, and use the code UnitedView to get 20% off and free shipping.
Hey, heck of a read that, Flex. Very well done indeed. Very professional. Lovely stuff. As Flex said there, you can get the Chairman Pro today and experience a shave that is as smooth as you deserve. All you got to do, head over to manscaped.com. This holiday season, it was Thanksgiving in the States. We're less than, a month away from Christmas. Head over to manscaped.com for the holiday season to enjoy 25% off, plus Flex, most importantly, free shipping. Free shipping on your whole order by using the code. Free shipping using the code UnitedView at checkout. Easy to do. And you can see it on the sidebar right there. So in case you're going, what did you say, Owen? You can just sidebar right there. Links in the video description as well. If you're watching after the fact, it'd probably be pinned in the comment section too. All different ways to get 25% off and free shipping, Flex.
Use it. Don't say we don't help you out, especially as it's Christmas and it's on its way to season greetings. You know what I mean? If you need to get it for your dad, your uncle, your other half, whatever, your son, whatever, then there you go. Use your Manscaped 20% off, man. And one thing I do have to say though, it's so easy using Manscaped stuff in the shower. That is, do you know what I mean? Because
waterproof.
Exactly, the waterproof thing. That's one of the biggest things for me. And or you can just rinse it under the tap as well to just get the hair out of it and just clean it. Perfect. So if you want more info on that, like Owen said, 20% off there. Video link in the video description below. Get involved. Use code UnitedView. Now, Liam Delap. Owen, handy player.
Yeah, very handy player. Very handy player indeed. Played against us at the weekend, and people have got their eyes on him, Jurgen Fleck, because David Ornstein, he started his transfer deal sheet this morning in preparation of the January transfer window, and he says Liam Delap, he only joined Ipswich from Manchester City in July, but he's already generating interest from bigger clubs over a potential move, maybe next summer, might not be in January. He's being tracked by many Premier League clubs for considerable time. He's already scored 6 goals, got an assist in 13 games this season, and he's only rising in the estimation of those watching him. Now, suitors across the division are watching Delap closely. Some even attended the game when Manchester United faced off against Ipswich at Portman Road last Sunday. And as he continues to perform at a decent level, the so-called Big Six team and others are looking at him. His admirers include Chelsea, Manchester United. There's also a bit of a technicality from Manchester City because they could technically scupper any move elsewhere. They put matching rights or a buyback clause in most sales. So theoretically, they could get Delap back himself. Whether that's to keep him, they could do the thing where they buy him back and they sell him themselves. We've seen that happen with clubs in the past too. So Ipswich, they do want to keep hold of Delap. I keep saying Delict and Delap. It's confusing me. Delap, but might struggle to do so. Whether or not they stay in the top flight this season, of course, will pay a big impact on that. But Flex, do you like what you see from him? Do you think he could fit at Manchester United? Is he the striking solution? Is Rasmus Hojlund the striking solution after last night? What is the solution?
I like Liam Delap. I think he's got a lot about him. Powerful, he's quick, he's strong. He scored some really good goals as well. He scored some really good goals this year. I think he's got, like you said, 6 already. And was a handful against us. We earmarked that before the game, and he stayed true to it. At the moment, he's one of these players that is matching the hype around him. He's matching the conversation around him. You don't watch him in this moment, in this period, and not see much from him and not go, I don't know why everyone's talking about him. But first season at senior level, out of City, we know how this goes. We have to be really careful. We have to be really careful. Look at, again, Evan Ferguson is a good example to use. And I know you can maybe talk about maybe some of the differences between these two players, but in terms of the hype and the momentary sort of praise, Evan Ferguson was getting this season before last.
Yeah,
it was Evan Ferguson is the man. Evan Ferguson is 100 million player. Evan Ferguson, and he even spoke to Brighton fans. Ryan from Seagulls podcast at the time. He was like, he laughed. He went, mate, he's not ready. Honestly, if you want to give us 100 million for me, but he's not ready. And then he went on last season to have a terrible season. Now, I'm not using that as a stick to beat him with. These are young players. This is what the point is. It happens. So we need to see more from Liam Delap. He looks like he's got the assets, but sometimes the gamble gets taken, doesn't it? Said club does come in for a young player, after one good year at senior level, and then they get their move, and then you see how it goes. It either works or it doesn't, or somewhere in between. But I like the look of him, but Ipswich are going to want, good money for him. He's only just gone there this summer. And look, Rasmus did really well last night. Really, really well last night. I mean, that first goal he scores was ridiculous. Really.
Yeah.
Not until you watch it happened so quick in real time in the stadium. I thought, let me look at that back. It's a proper good goal. And he has a hand in the first goal to force the keeper into the mistake, and then scores the third. So, he had a hand in all 3 goals. It's unbelievable yesterday. And as the game went on, some good bits of hold-up play as well. But when the team suffered, everyone suffered. But I think we do need another striker. We have to get one. Should it be Liam Delap? I want to see more this season. Of course, we'll have to wait till the summer anyway. But you just have to be careful. It's very difficult.
Yeah, you do have to be careful. Yeah, you do have to be careful. I mean, it's funny actually talking about Hojlund last night because recently, and I think even as recent as yesterday morning when I did the morning view, not that I've been critical, because I think, again, when sometimes you have these conversations about young players, it gets perceived as being critical or writing them off or anything like that, which it's not the case. My point with Hojlund has been, he is young. Was he 21, 22? We don't know what he's going to be in 4 or 5 years when he's in his prime or what have you. He really, I think, still needs that support from a senior striker that is 26, 27, ready to go right now. And it just alleviates that burden that is on him of your Manchester United's real only 21. Number 9. He's the real only number 9 we've got. Let's face it. You look at Xerxes, we know he's not a 9. He said that himself. Rashford, we've got Ruben Amorim coming out in the press conference that you were in saying he's not a striker. That's not his best position. So we've only got 1 9 at the club, really. And that's Rasmus Hojlund. And is it, I suppose, even fair at this point of his career to be like, oh, by the way, you play for Manchester United, we're expecting 20, 25 goals a season on you. Boom. I don't think he's ever done that in his career, at this point. So then you go, right, you need support in that regard. Now, I agree with you when I go, is that support necessarily Delap? Is that really what I'm looking
is it
for?
him? It's another young striker who's inexperienced who could struggle.
Similar kind of profile, step up to Manchester United. You're buying potential again, basically. You're buying potential. So you're going, that's a bit of a risk. That's a bit of a gamble. So it's not a case with Hojlund of ability or talent, because we have seen it. His record in Europe over the last couple of years is brilliant, and he has scored good goals. We just need more in that position. We need more in that position. We need more experience in that position. And I think that just alleviates a lot of the pressure and burden that's on some of those younger players further forward there. Because, coming out of the last night's game, I described it in the post-match. It was a real mixed bag. Obviously, the most important thing is you get the win. There are some performances in there that are really encouraging, individual performances. There are some stuff about the shape that's encouraging, but there's other parts that even just in a couple of games, it gets more and more obvious what the struggles are going to be, what we're going 100%. To suffer in moving forward, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I agree. And that point you make about, we've got potential already. So how much do we invest in more potential? We went to go and get Xerxes essentially to help Rasmus. We buy him. We go, well, he doesn't really help Rasmus because he's not actually a striker. He's basically a number 10 or this in-between player. That is a new thing I've heard of in new age football called 9.5 bollocks. So you're trying to find out where the best place.
Manscaped can help with that as well.
Yeah, Manscaped. Good little segue there. Nice. That'll be with the lawnmower though, not with the Pro Show. But don't use that. Don't use this one. Don't use the Chairman Pro for the lawnmower stuff. That would be false advertising and wrong advertising, and you could hurt yourself. Don't do that, guys.
Nice.
Go and get Lawnmower Pro. That's a different model for a different region.
Different function.
Different function, yes. Different functionality on a technicality.
Yeah.
But back to my point. You make a good point about, we've got potential. We've got that. And you'd probably be in the same position again, where you're then trying to nurture two, which again can work if the team has a lot of other goals in other places and it's really good, and the midfield all join in with goals and wingers do, and we don't have that luxury. We need a dedicated guaranteed goal scorer, and as guaranteed as you can guarantee goals. Obviously,
well, that's the problem, isn't it? Because this is the other part of it. I don't know if you saw it. I think it was Rio in one of his recent videos is sort of saying that, and it's true. It is so much of a dying breed.
Yeah.
That then it does become, well, who do you get? How many ready-made goal scorers are there out there? Maybe that's why clubs like Man United are so focused on the potential, because they're like, well, who do we get? If there is someone that is 26, 27 that scores goals, they're really expensive and sometimes they can't get. And it's funny how names sort of come into vogue, because now, and this is something that Ornstein also spoke about in his transfer deal sheet this morning too, talking about Gyökeres, basically saying, yeah, he's going to go, but it's going to be in the summer. And naturally, he says, because of Ruben Amorim being at United, his name's going to come up.
100%.
But it's not a certainty that he'll go to United, because once again, every club across Europe, because they are quite rare, if they see a number 9, a proper number 9 that scores goals, that's between sort of 24 to sort of 28, they go, well, I'll have a bit of that. Yes, please. So we'll be competing if we do go for Gyökeres. So maybe that's also why United do go for potential, because they're like, well, who do we get? Who do we find? Who do we think can make the step up? Because that's what they tried to do with Hojlund. They're hoping he can make the step up. But also, whilst you're waiting, and this is the other thing with strikers too, is they can just go for years just being a bit meh. They can go for years being a bit meh, and then suddenly they just start scoring and they don't stop. And you're like, bloody hell, where did that come from? That was unbelievable. I remember Diego Forlan came to United with all the potential. We were like, oh, don't know about that. He went to Villarreal, fucking hell. He wouldn't stop scoring.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes it just,
right conditions.
Yeah, sometimes it just happens. So yeah, I still do think we need another striker. And I don't think, I did see a bit of that last night of that. See, you doubted Rasmus, hold that. And you go, it's a game, because let's face it. If the weekend Everton he plays and he misses chances, then it's back to, I don't know. I'm not sure it goes. The wind blows that quickly with reactions to players. So I think he just needs support. We just need more options up front. We scored 3 last night. We could have scored like 6 with the chances.
Yeah, we should have doubled that, and we'll get onto like that a little bit actually in a second, actually, because there's a lot I want to talk about in terms of some of the performances, what we learned, what we're starting to get an idea of going forward, because there's still so much to talk about. But yeah, on the striker thing, we just know we're going to need one. It's just about the type of profile that we go and get, and I just think we can't be not wasting time. We've already committed to that project now with Rasmus. No problem. He's young.
Yeah.
Obviously, you look at last night, it shows there's ability there if you feed him. And that was the first one. It's not scraps. It's not scraps, but I was going to say,
a lot to do.
the Mazraoui one's not exactly, there you go, mate, go put that in the back of the net. You know, the second one was, to be fair. That was
and
good
for
football.
all intents and purposes, the first goal, that's all him. That first goal was all him.
He chases it down. It down. And also, that keeper's a disgrace, by the way. They should probably just send him off anyway.
Him to the floor.
Even though he scored, we should have done a double whammy and just sent him off. Because if we didn't score from that, obviously it would have been a penalty and a sending off. But yeah, he does that from pressing. And the second goal he scores, the third goal he scores, his second, our third, that is a well worked. That's, you know, I tweeted it, and you know, people go extra, and I meant in that moment of the game, I said that's more like it. That's more like Amorim ball. That phase of play. Fans like you are the problem. It's Bodo Glimt at home. You're an idiot. I'm like, mate, I'm just at the stadium. I've just put a tweet out saying that's more like it. That's what Amorim will want to see. That sequence there, you know, good little. I think if we got Martinez down the side, was it? I can't remember who it was. Then Mason Mount gets it somehow. Does a little flick through to his guards. Yeah. You know, nice little build up, cut back, goal. Good football. And
from Hojlund, that's where he would want. He'd be like, right, I'm in between the sticks. I'm waiting for the ball to come into the box.
And it weren't the first time we created that type of chance as well. I know Garnacho was extremely wasteful. Had a few where he flashed across as well, getting into good positions. But you can tell we're set up to do that. So yeah, let's move on a little bit. Where are we at actually? Let's get these super chats out and see where we're at with the likes. 213, over 1,000 people watching already, which is good. That's in counting, so that's only going to go up. So let's get 500 likes, man. I know it's going to be tough to do that right now, but we're at 214, so let's keep the likes running. Big up Bias Byron says, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something, brother. Sounds a bit like Hulk Hogan, isn't it? Let me tell you something. We potentially have 6 Mazraouis. 1 Mazraoui himself. We have 6 Mazraouis. 1 Mazraoui himself. 2, a fit Shaw can be Mazraoui 3. And a fit Martinez can be Mazraoui 4. Kobe Mainoo 5. A fit Mount 6. A fit is 5, sorry. And Ahmad is the 6th. Right, okay. Interesting. But I don't see Luke Shaw and Martinez spending much time on the pitch together, by the way.
Yeah, Luke Shaw ain't a left wing back.
No chance.
No chance. Not in a
million. And Amorim will like him as a left. Well, he obviously does like him as a left centre back. He will like him as a pro, like I was saying in that show when we was, oh no, give up on him here. Once he's fit, he's a good player, and especially in this system, he'll be absolutely fine left centre back. And actually, it's a slightly different choice of skill set, really, isn't it? Like Luke Shaw can play there competently. You know, not much is going to get past him. He's going to be in the right position. Not got loads of running to do now, so that's better for him. He's okay on the ball in possession. He's okay, but he's not as good as Leacher comes stepping out. Leacher, you know what you're getting stepping into midfield or balls over the top. It's an interesting one.
It's decision making, isn't it, as well? Because you did see it for a couple of goals we conceded last night. There is still, you can tell with Leacher playing as a left centre back. There are a couple of points where he does step out where maybe he's not meant to, and he looks a bit confused as to when he's sort of going, am I meant to be 100%. Going in here? Am I meant to be, what am I meant to be doing here with all that sort of stuff? And he's going to have to adapt quickly. Yeah. And I'm not saying maybe Luke Shaw is going to do that better than him, but if he were, then Amorim would probably go for that and go, wow, I need people that are going to adapt as quickly as possible. I think we sometimes just think, Leacher, he can do that. You know, he's good on the ball, like you said, steps into midfield, fine. But he has been a bit decision-making this season, has been a little bit of when to press, when to step back. We know he's erratic, basically. And when he's erratic,
I've got stick, Owen. I've got stick. Remember when Luke Shaw played left centre-back last year, when he had to fill in a couple of times? And I said, he's, apart from the passing, like I know he's got a bit of a better passing rate and like neater on the ball. But Luke Shaw's as good as Martinez as a centre-back, left centre-back. Or like, depending on what you're asking him to do, just being a bit more cultured and a bit more, less erratic, he's better in some elements. Like, it's just a fitness thing. It's just a fitness thing. Like, and I stand by that. I don't care who wants to call me deluded or if the chat wants to disagree with me, no problem. But Luke Shaw is a competent defender. Like he is. He obviously is just not fit. I know so that's why he should leave. That's why the contract shouldn't get renewed. I'm not saying that. I'm talking about when he is fit, though. Like he's not rash. Like you know what you're getting with Luke Shaw. Like he's a competent defender. When people act like he's like because of his injuries, it means he's a shit footballer and he's not good. Like he's good. Luke Shaw is a good player. He's just not available, which makes him dispendable. Do you know what I mean? But compared to Leacher, we need. I said to people, "Oh, you're just not. What you got agenda against?" No, I can just see the deficiencies that Leacher's got. I can see it. I've seen it the whole time. And I said he needs to. Remember when I said he needs to? I said, yeah, but you can't leave him on an island and just make him go do everything. He needs the left back to make sure he protected there. You need Varane next to you. Like you need the big man around you still. Like you're not that. Like Saliba and them man cannot. You could go like just go and hold your own. You go and do anything. Leacher's not that. Like the butcher thing, all this, chop man down, all that.
Yeah, he
it's
does.
Great, but
he has the head loss as well, doesn't he? Like he, I noticed it even last time we went 2-1 down. The first thing he did afterwards was fly into a tackle. I think just to try and I'd take some aggression out, or just try and wake himself up. And you notice a few times this season where he's done some things. You go, bloody, that was a bit close. That could have gone really, really, really bad there. And that's great, and the crowd gets up for it and all that. But you go, you're walking a very fine line, aren't you? And not to say like you want to completely take it out of him, because some defenders in the past, remember Sergio Ramos, bloody hell, how many red cards did he get in his career? And I'm not saying Leach is Sergio Ramos, but sometimes you can't take it out of him, and that aggression works. But it's just a rashness. Sometimes
he will.
Amadine,
I just got a feeling, Owen. It's just my feeling. I think there's a chance Amadine could prefer Luke Shaw over Martinez. I do. Obviously, it's the load management, so it's going to be perfect the way it works out, really, because they both. I mean, Martinez is struggling to beat the charges that Kenny put on him, by the way.
Bloody hell, yeah, literally, Kenny. Kenny looks like he's some kind of fortune teller, soothsayer. Honestly, because he said it at the time, it was just one injury. And we were like, Ken, I don't know what you're on about. But since then, Martinez
just a couple little niggly. Do you know what I mean? So between him and Shaw, obviously Shaw's the biggest sick note, but Martinez is having a couple here and there, isn't he? Couple more here and there. So actually, for the left centre back, it probably makes sense, though, to be fair, for them to share that, which is fine, because the drop off between both of them is not massive. It's just slightly different styles.
Yeah.
But Amorim will really like Luke Shaw. He will depend on him. He will use him a lot as a left centre back, 100%.
And he'll change him mid game as well.
He'll change him mid game. Went to back four.
We'll have to get used to this too, because we're just not used to really centre backs really getting sub. You just don't really see it all that much, do you?
And we're still only doing it because of injuries.
Yeah, well, and also when you play, I suppose, a back three, and you're asking your particular right and left centre back to do more, then maybe they can actually get sub because they're going to be pressing forward quite a bit. So, like I said, maybe it'll be just them two. That's the left centre backs.
They're almost like auxiliary fullbacks as well, because what happens is obviously the left and the right centre back, respectively, they do have to spend time out in their what they would normally play in, which is a right back or left back. Luke Shaw, how many times was he basically by the touchline as the left centre back with Dalot gone on?
Yeah.
And he's clipping balls into Dalot or clipping it over the top to Garnacho or playing balls into midfield in the left back space, but he's the left centre back. And Dalot, same thing. It's like what Gary Neville said. When you play in a back three as two of those centre halves, either side of the main centre half, it's better to have tendencies or attributes where you can go out to those wide areas. Do you know what I mean? Rather than just be a stiff centre half who can't really move. So that's probably left for the centre one, which is Delap. He's not really that quick and agile, so he can be there. So I like it. Rest of the super chats as well. Danny DeVita says, great result last night. Mazraoui is hands down sign of the season, and Onana is becoming more consistent. His brother Francis must have been so proud watching him from the stands. Yeah. I mean, all I saw, to be honest with you, it was very presumptuous of me. And the reason why I did do it, and when I broke it down to Josh, he's like, yeah, that's true, actually. Basically, I do know Francis Ngannou does support Man United, right? We saw that on tour, or the year before last week in Vegas. But I'm thinking, I've seen a big out group of African guys and girls walking up down the side, and I'm going, they've obviously come to watch a player, so it's got to be Onana's people. And I've seen the mad uncle hat, the bright red hat, and I'm going, well, there's not going to be. Why would Francis Ngannou be at Bodo Glimt? Dead game. It's just probably going to be Onana's the only African player we've got. Well, actually, and Mazraoui, to be fair. But I was just thinking, it's got to be. It's got to be his people then. And I looked, and I went, that's not his brother. That's Francis Ngannou. So
Oh, man.
big up. And when Onana was doing the madness, he was just laughing. And Ghana was just laughing. When he come out and done that mad kick flick, well, it was Dalot's fault, to be fair. It was all Dalot's fault.
Ahmad as well, African player.
Oh, yes, Ahmad. Yes, Ahmad. But he don't bring a squad. You know what I mean? Onana's brought him. I was with his brothers in the lift in one of the other games before. He brings out the whole family. But yeah, I just assumed it was for Onana's. But when he done that thing where Dalot gave him the short back pass, and Onana's doing it, then he done another fly kick one where he kicked it out after the little kung fu kick where he just kicked it out into touch. Ghana, Josh has put a clip up of it as well. Ghana is just laughing, man.
I tell you honestly, you talk about Dalot with that short pass he gave to Onana. KG last night was fuming. I mean, every time, because let's face it, Dalot came on, and when he came on half time for 45 minutes, most passes he gave the ball away.
Yeah, he struggled.
He's really madness. Struggled. And KG, he's not having it. He is not having it at all. And to be fair, I don't really blame him because it's weird because he's just like you said, it's getting worse. You know what I mean? Man. It was good last season.
Becoming a liability at the minute.
Yeah, it was good last season. Then this season was all right. And then just it's getting worse and worse to the point that it was almost like every time he touched the ball last day, I had an inhale of breath going, oh my God, what's he going to do here? There was one, but she beat like 3 people. And you're like, mate, you just put it out wide. I think it's either Ahmad or Rashford. You go, put it in. Couldn't pass it.
Underhits the pass and gives it straight back to them. Yeah. And he done the hard bit running through a few.
Yeah.
Put it out wide. Everyone then went, oh God. It was just ridiculous. We'll get back to it though. Dominic says, how are you awake? I don't know, mate. I'm knackered, to be honest with you. I don't know how I'm awake. Those Rasmus finishes, love. Yep, they were very good finishes. And Tabra says £66 ticket increase is disgraceful. Glazers out now.
It's disgraceful. Yeah.
It is disgraceful. No consultation with the fans. Just put the price up. And it hasn't affected season ticket holders yet, in brackets, but it probably will. And Sir Jim Ratcliffe / the Glazers, it's their decisions, and to not consult fans like that, same for concessions, it's that price. It shouldn't be happening. It shouldn't be happening. I know you get price freezes, and we're quite happy when that happens because prices don't go up, and sometimes things have to go up incrementally here, there, and the other. But it's like an average ticket. It's about £48 for a decent average price, up to 66. Not good. Not good
and across the board as well. Children, OAP. Basically any discount tickets don't exist. Basically,
under 16s. You know what I mean?
66.
So now you want to go to football with your parents on a school night or whatever, and now they've got to fork out £66 for you as opposed to was it £24 before? I want to say something like that. It was really reasonable.
A big discount. Exactly.
Yeah,
because the whole point, family experience, bring your kids. Now you can't afford to.
It's bullshit.
That's ridiculous.
And we've been watching shit football as well. We're paying these players big money on long contracts, and half of them have been awful. And now you're making the fans feel it. And I get things like cost-saving exercise, and you've got to trim the budget, and I understand things like that. But you don't go straight to the heartbeat of the football club and just increase the prices without consultation as well, by the way. No warning.
Exactly.
Just bang. And across the board, not just... Listen, if it was only to just one subgroup, it's still not great. But to do that, I think to do that to concession, people over... I think it's over 60s.
Yeah, I think
it is. And to do that to under 18s, I think.
Yeah.
Totally wrong. I think there's under 18s, and I think there's an under 21s one as well, or under 24s, something like that. There's different tiers. It's ridiculous.
And like you said, I echo the same things. Because I mentioned this before the game. That when you have mergers and acquisitions, people buy into organizations. Redundancies, cost savings, cost saving synergies, as they call it sometimes. They happen. It's unfortunate, but they happen, and it kind of is what it is. But like you said, then to be like, well, we're going to save more money by getting the fans to pay more at a time which, not to get too sort of socioeconomical or political or anything like that, it's tight for a lot of people at the moment. Everyone's seen that about how tight it is.
Energy bills crazy.
Yeah, and then
it's the winter period.
Yeah, exactly. And now, by the way, if you've got kids, or you might have a situation where you've got someone over 60 bringing their grandchild with them, they both have to pay significantly more than they would have previously. That's madness. Absolute
100%.
Madness.
100%. So Tabrez is right. Really feel for everyone who's going to be affected by that. A lot of people, which is usually what happens, is why they do it, will just pay it as well, by the way. Old Trafford's not going to be any less full now. There'll probably be some protests. I think we're going to stand side by side with the Everton fans on the weekend, which is good.
Yeah,
and Must have put a thing in, is it? Or is it?
Yeah, well, there's a big Must
1958.
must put a letter to Omar Barada yesterday. Like I said, there's going to be it's actually quite powerful when you think about it. You've got Manchester United and Everton fans at Old Trafford protested, and then you've got Liverpool and City fans protesting at Anfield for the same reason.
They're doing it as well,
and it's kind of been done across the board. So you've got clubs there that do not have any favourable will to each other.
I don't know, man. The higher ups, Villa have been doing it as well. And I took to Dan Bardell about it. Now, they're I know it's Champions League, but they put their tickets up to £100.
Yeah, I saw that. First time they're back in the Champions League and whatever, and they just
£100.
Yeah,
because that is just feasting on the fact that the fans will find a way to pay it. Obviously, you price some out, but Dan was like, "Okay, I'm privileged enough I'm fortunate enough that I can afford that increase, but I want to see my team. I've never seen Villa be this good. It's Bayern Munich at home. I've never experienced it in my lifetime. I'm just going to pay it." But for families of 3 and 4, gone. They've been Villa fans all their life, and now they get to the chance where they finally get to the Champions League, and they can't afford to watch it.
And they're priced out of it at a time which the club's making more money.
Ridiculous. It's just absolutely shocking. But I suppose should we be that shocked? You know what I mean? No. Dominic says, I don't know, Tabres. All Elite says, call it now. Sure to displace Leacher at left centre back. That's I can see it. I can see it. Paolo Reese says, my guys, any worry about Dalot? Which was literally just talking about that.
Big up Paolo.
Big up Paolo. Yes. Oh, is that Paolo? Yes, Paolo. Yeah. Oh, that's just gone off. It's done that.
The back of the YouTube dodgy.
Yeah, man.
It's not good.
Reload it.
It's not good.
Keeps doing that, isn't it?
It is,
doing that. Then you've got to refresh it. Because it definitely isn't my M4 10 core. It's not that, mate. I literally just refreshed it straight back there, mate.
No problem.
Not that.
Yeah.
Brand new, mate. Brand new.
Yeah, nice.
I like the way to show the power. I just hold the mouse like that. What does that do?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. All Elite says, my guys, yeah. So any worry about Dalot? This season, he's done both good things and bad things in a game. Too erratic, and I feel we just need consistency. 100% agree with you, Paolo. Hope you're doing well, by the way, as well, bro. But he has struggled massively.
It's the Paolo era, yeah. The head coach is Portuguese from Portugal. Yeah. Oh, yeah. The pronunciations are all over the place.
100%. Uncle Somi says, what happens to Mazraoui when Yoro returns? Right wing back / Ahmad. And this is a good question. I was talking about this with someone at the game yesterday, and my first thought was, well, the logical thing is Mazraoui probably just goes to right wing back, and Yoro plays right centre back. But I don't know, Mazraoui's really good there.
He can play anywhere, Flex.
But he can play anywhere.
He can play anywhere and do anything. He has played right centre back. Tick that one off, ease. He's played left back, tick that one off, ease. He's played right back, tick that one off, played 10, gets a pre-assist. You know, he can do it. Literally can do anything. And do you know what? You give Erik ten Hag credit when he was asked about Mazraoui when he first came in, and he said, look, he's totally press resistant. He's like, you won't get the ball off him. Left foot, right foot, no problem at all. He's totally calm. The consistency level is off the chart. It's not to say like every game he's like a 10 out of 10. It's just
every game is a minimum 7.
Minimum 7. That's the base level, and you go from there. You don't have to worry about him in the game, basically.
No.
And the biggest concern about him coming in, wasn't it? Was heard some stuff about injuries, heard some stuff about fitness. He's always available. He had a procedure.
Owen.
But so far he has been always available.
You are speaking the facts of what's happened.
He had a procedure done in his heart, and everyone was like, "Oh, it's going to be out for months." He's back, like he was on the bench a few days later. No,
and he came off the bench as well. I think he played about 5 minutes.
Yeah, so like he's top class. Clearly our signing of the season. To be fair, this summer you'd probably hold it up against anyone in the Premier League in terms of value for money.
Pound for pound, mate. As they say in boxing, pound for pound. Literally pound for pound or euro for euro, whatever you want to call it. The expectation with value versus what we've got, the output, very, very, very good. Very good. Nothing phases. Even when I was in the mixer yesterday and he was next to us doing the written press. And when you if you've ever seen him in real life, guys, or you've seen him play, he's quite slight. Like he looks like, I was saying to Josh, I was like, he looks like one of them players that like Sunday League or even Saturday League when you play and you sort of size up the opposition, you go, oh, at number 6, I'll probably have him. But he's not going to be quick or he's not going to be very good. I'll probably have him. and then the game kicks off. You go, fucking hell.
Yeah. Ball sticks to his feet. I can't get
you
up.
go, rah. You go, rah. I was wrong about him. I always used to do that. I was the worst at that. Just prejudging players like in the warm up and that. You know, just go, look at that number 4.
Or like, when it's not even in the warm up. Sometimes you see him arriving, and this is
it's
quite stereotype. But there's like a guy looks quite nerdy, glasses, thin, and you go. There's no way he can play football.
I don't know what position he's going to be playing today. But if he's starting,
there's no way. Then you see he starts like left wing, and you go, all right. There you go. And then the game kicks off. He flies past everybody. You go, bloody hell. He's unbelievable.
Because you also, Owen, you have it the other way around. You have it where also in the car park, you get the guys fucking coming out. He's got the Alice band on already for no reason.
You go. He must be good. He's wearing
he's carrying his boots. He's carrying his boots in his arm, like for no reason.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Then in the warm ups, he's got the socks.
He's got Gucci wash bag.
That semi-pro level. You know what I mean? Saturday League level. And he's in the warm up. He's pinging it, doing the becks, rolling it, top of the studs, doing all this, strutting about the place. Kicks off and he's shit.
Yeah, he's rubbish.
So it works both ways. Everyone, we have all experienced this. We have all experienced this. Whether it's 6-a-side, 7-a-side, 11-a-side, we've all experienced this. But back to my point, Mazraoui looks like someone where you wouldn't think he's that good. And he's just so humble. Like when you ask him questions, like, yeah, you've been so good, and he's just not phased. Comes out in his little slides. It's just like, I'll do a job wherever the manager wants to play, no problem. Like the fans, like they thank you to them, but I just play. He is a proper. I'm just here to do my job, mate. I'm humble. I work hard. I give thanks for everything, and I'm for the team. Those people like that are invaluable in your dressing room. They can play a host of positions and play it well. They got no ego whatsoever, and a high level of understanding for the game. Technically sound, both feet, can read the game really well. Quick, strong, anticipation in the tackle, can find a pass, weight of pass appreciation, everything. Just brilliant. Just a really, really good footballer.
Yeah. No, top player. And like I say, pound for pound, he's up there for one of the signings of the season in the Premier League, no doubt about that. And and it's one of those ones where any team would have him. Not even necessarily like, every starting 11, but you'd absolutely. You'd ask again. You ask Liverpool, Arsenal, City, whoever the people top 4, they'd have Mazraoui in their squad.
Yeah, they've got no reason to start him because their teams are settled. But if he had to play,
he'd slot in.
He'd slot in.
Slot in, no problem. Easy.
Absolutely. So, Uncle, to answer your question when you said, what happened when you're returned, he can play anywhere. I think it could be an excuse to push Ahmad forward into the 10s, which we'll talk about in a second, and go from there. So Ryan says, if you take the discounts, take the hikes. What's that in reference to?
Was that meant to be the tickets? I don't know.
Yeah, if you take the is that being rude then? Is that saying if you were taking the discounts before, then clear off? Because if you're saying that, I don't agree with that.
Well, kids should pay more.
Yeah.
Basically. Kids and old people.
I don't know.
Pay more.
Ryan, clarify what you're saying, because I don't want to cuss you out. And you don't mean that. But you're saying if you take discounts, take the hikes. So you're saying that clear off then? Is that what you're saying, Ryan? I don't agree with that. If that's what you're saying,
sense at all, to be honest.
No,
with you.
Basically, you're saying, well, you took the discounts when it was there, and now you're moaning that the prices are high, so go away.
Again, under 16s, they've been getting away with it for too long. Flex. They should be paying just as much as anyone else.
Not bloody working with no national insurance number yet.
When you're 10 years old, you should pay exactly as much as everyone else.
Yeah, I don't agree with that, Ryan. Even if you can afford it, bro, I don't agree with it for people that are less fortunate or less likely, to be fair, to be in a position to afford it. You know what I mean? And even for the people that can, it doesn't necessarily mean it's right. So yeah, I don't know.
Imagine that. I remember everyone. Well, most people, if they're fortunate enough, you go to Old Trafford as a kid. That moment, that first time you go, it's awe-inspiring, jaw-dropping. Imagine being priced out of that. Because before you could afford it when it was previously like it was. Now they've hiked up the price. I can't go to Old Trafford anymore. My parents can't afford it.
Yeah,
bollocks.
It is 100%. It's not right. Joe Fleming says, "How does Mainu get into this team realistically?" Right. Let's talk, Owen, because there's a few players I want to talk about. There's a few things I want to talk about, and there's a few mental notes that I made from yesterday that I wanted to bring up as points to you and to the community and discuss further myself because I'm searching for the answers. It was interesting looking at Kobe warming up. He's coming back from an injury. But as the game went on, you sort of learn more about Ruben. And I'm looking at some of the subs being made, and I'm looking at the midfield two he's got, and I'm like, for the balance of what's going on here, Kobe's not going to get on in those two midfield. Like Ugarte was doing well in what he does, and Bruno's the captain, and as he made subs, and Bruno wasn't one of the ones to go forward into the tens. I was like, this is interesting because Rashford's come on. He's gone on the inside right first. Then when we went to a back four, he kind of played just off the front, didn't he? In a 4-2-3-1. Then I was looking at the substitutions that got made when basically Mason Mount came off quite early, but that's 55 minutes in the tank. That's probably all he can manage. And I looked at how he played. There's Mason Mount KG coins, and
yeah, well, KG was very happy with Mason Mount last night. I thought he did well in the 10. But to be fair, it's similar to remember because you kind of forget with everything that's happened this season. First 2 games before Mount got injured again. But first 2 games, remember he was playing and he was pressing from the front, and then he came off in those games. We were like, we suddenly look way less intense.
Yeah.
After Mason Mount came off, and Fulham at Old Trafford too, we were like, we don't look as intense. So we know that's his makeup. That's what he does. It's just a case of whether he can do that for.
And the same thing happened again when he came off.
Yeah,
we were less fluid.
But can he play for 90 minutes? And can he play several games without getting hurt? It's the same conundrum, isn't it? But no doubt, last night certainly. It certainly in the first sort of 20, 25 minutes, him and Hojlund pressing from the front was very intense, and that looked good. Whether or not, again, it can be sustained. But it comes to Kobe, it's an interesting one because last night was just interesting in general because like United used all of their subs by the 70th minute.
Yeah,
like they couldn't
see as many players
and they couldn't bring anyone else on. And you felt like maybe if he'd had one more sub, then maybe Kobe might have come on, perhaps. But where does he fit into that team? I can see people maybe thinking, well, maybe he would play higher up, maybe in one of those 10 roles. Or would he play where Bruno was last night?
He can play because Bruno's showing flexibility, which was interesting we learned a lot about Amorim yesterday as well, because he wasn't afraid to move a few players about, and he wasn't afraid to change system. He's been asked that so many times. This 3-4-3, and he goes, it's not about the system, it's about the principles. Whether it's 4-4-2, 4-2-3-1.
Flex.
Was it Robbie Savage?
You didn't hear it last night.
What was it? I saw quotes or people saying it.
Oh my God. So fortunately, me and KJ were watching the game and we had the commentary piped in our headphones so we could both hear it at the same time. Robbie Savage's obsession with the shape that Manchester United were playing was insane.
But what, in a negative way, or just we know we're playing it, mate?
No. He was basically framing it as like, first of all, he kept saying, they switched to a back four, which was partially true because at points and phases, we kind of did. But Amorim had even said that in his press conference, like the base is the 3-4-3, and we kind of moved
we only went
from
that
there. But he was framing it. He was, first of all, first half, like when we were 2-1 down, he was doing the great line of, these players look like they're used to playing in a 4-2-3-1. Well, I wonder fucking why. Because we've played like that for 10 years. And until a couple of weeks ago, we were playing in a 4-2-3-1. So of course they do. I use the analogy. It's like going, you look like you're used to driving a manual car. Well, now you're driving an automatic. Oh yeah, because a week ago I was. I'm not looking for the biting point anymore, as KG would say. Yes, of course, yeah. So he was obsessed with that. And he was kind of trying to frame it like Ruben Amorim was abandoning his principles in 25 minutes. And he was like, we've got to change it. No,
we were 3-4-3 yesterday.
And it wasn't that. And even in the second half, when Amorim did make some tactical tweaks at halftime.
We went to a back four in the second half.
And he told, partially we did. Like the basis was still 3 at the back. That was the basis. Now, when we were sort of maybe out of possession, it kind of switched maybe to a back 4-ish. But then at points it switched back to a back 3.
We still built up with a back 3. But what happened was Dalot came on and he was left wing back. And I think when Casemiro came on and he went centre back with Luke Shaw, that's when we went to an actual back 4.
Well, at points, but again, even that.
But when we had the ball, Dalot went high as the left back, and Luke Shaw came out.
So the basis, and again, this is why the media is mental, because Ruben Amorim said as much in the press conference. I think it's one that you were in, or if it wasn't, the one before, when he literally said, because I think it was Jamie Jackson, when he said, "Oh, so would you go to a back four? Would you go to a 4-4-2?" And Ruben Amorim said, "Yes, I would, but basically everything starts with the back three, and then in the game, depending on the opponent, depending on how the game is going, we might tweak, we might change." And then when you asked Bruno the question, he even put it out there when he said, that happens in every team. That's not a new phenomenon. I don't know why the obsession is necessarily there that much, because it's like every team might have 2 or 3 different formations, depending on if they're attacking, if they're out of possession, if it's in transition, if they're doing that. What we know from United, Ruben Amorim, the base is the back three. But at different points, someone might be asked to tuck in, someone might be asked to go forward. So then that turns into a back four, or that turns into a back five, or something like that, or the shape changes a little bit. But the base is the 3, and that's it. And last night, they just couldn't sort of get their head around that. They couldn't get that. They were framing it like he had basically already compromised his beliefs of how he wanted to shape up the team. And actually, it was almost just a bit like it was just, I don't know, too difficult for them to understand. But again, it's not a novel concept. It was literally just lots of teams do it. You watch like City play, bloody hell, how many formations do they do in a game when they switched into different shapes?
But he said that it's not just a one size fits all. Like the worry was, and this actually is good that we're seeing this. This is really good we're seeing this as fans, because the worry was, he's going to come in 3-4-3, be stubborn, not change no matter what. Now, obviously, there's a part of us that we're saying we want him to stick to his principles, like so that it starts, which he absolutely has. But we also need a little bit of flexibility within that. We can't be too rigid, and
which is what every team does.
Which is what every decent team is able to do, and he showed us that. I do think when we had a little bit of a phase. I don't know if you noticed it online on watching TV when we did go to that into a bit more of a 4-2-3-1 when Rashford was sort of just off Hojlund and it was a back four, but we still, like you said, it was a bit of a hybrid. There was a little bit of Bodo Glimt sort of sensed that, and then we weren't keeping the ball as well. Obviously, Dalot was giving him. Then we started to let them back in a bit. But even with doing that, we still had loads of chances, balls over the top. Garnacho, very, very wasteful. Rashford, wasteful. We had chances to kill that game off 4-2. Easy.
Gosh. Yeah,
easy. So, but what I liked about it is, like you said, this 55th minute, we'll have to see if it continues. But them subs were ready for 55 at 55th minute. I was watching them, but they just didn't get on to 58 because
he was pissed off with Luke Shaw because Luke Shaw wasn't ready, and Luke Shaw was taking his time getting ready. And he turned around. He was like, "You ready?"
Yeah.
Because
I was like, Luke Shaw hasn't been out running for a little while, like the other two have. Why is he like Rashford and Ahmad are there? And then I looked up and saw Luke Shaw going, "Oh, where's my thing?" And I was like, "Oh, what's going on there?" And at other times, he was vexed because we weren't pressing. Like he was going, I don't know if they showed it on TNT, but he was like, I was like, let me look at Amorim in this phase here because we're under the cosh a little bit here. And when we went to that 4-2-3-1 hybrid, we weren't going as high. We sat off in this mid block and let Bodo Glimt kind of, and he was going to Rasmus, and Rasmus was talking. He's like, go higher, go.
Yeah.
And then a couple of times he not went like that, but just didn't do it that time right again. So what did we learn yesterday? Yesterday we learned that Bruno is capable of playing deeper. If you've got the protection of Ugarte against the right type of team, and Bodo Glimt, no mugs by the way, no flipping mugs. No. They're physical. They work hard, and they've got some techie players, which is exactly what the Norwegian press were telling us. So we saw what they said. That first goal they scored was brilliant.
But yeah,
you know what I mean?
They looked top quarter, yeah,
exactly. So so it was good from them. But we learned about Bruno, Anthony, right wing back. I mean,
I'm not sold on it, to be honest. I know people say, "Oh, he did well and he had a good game," but it's still his characteristics. All he does want to cut inside, and you see on the opposite side, look, Malacia struggled in the sense that he was rusty and he gets done for the goal. Whether that's because of his knee, whether that's just rust, we shall see. It might be a bit of both, but you saw the benefit of having a natural left-footed player out there. He can hold width and go down the touchline. Whereas on the opposite side, when you've got Anthony who wants to cut in, you just don't really have that width.
Yeah, but Anthony, I mean, Ahmad was playing there, but he's more inventive than him. He can go both ways. Exactly. And Anthony was high and wide. I give him that, but like you said, he wants to naturally just come in, and his decision making is just not as good as Ahmad and other players. But there you go, he's got to play there. So we shall see. We shall see, guys. Smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. The Trinity will be later on today at 6 p.m. There'll be a match preview that will go out tomorrow as well for the Everton game. There'll be a presser release that was the second part of the presser yesterday, but that's embargoed, I think, till 1 o'clock. So there'll be some quotes, but we won't be live for that. But big up to each and every single one of you. Where did we get likes-wise and chat-wise? Have I said anything?
4-4-2. Robbie Savage's favorite formation.
4-4-2. Try and get to 500 on the way out. Guys, we are out of here. Take care. Peace.